Do I need to?
Yeah. How else will they know we're on TikTok?
They go like this. And then
Is
it goes
it
and then it goes
flossing
like,
a TikTok dance?
wait, no, it's like,
They have to be wearing a backpack.
motorcycle pin.
Oh, you got me. Good one.
All right.
Um,
Welcome to Gavin and the insert band name here. We do an intake manifold. We do a fuel system. We rebuild the engine bottom to top, but not the bottom. It's really hot.
I cannot overstate how hot it was while we were filming this, and that's why the energy is so low, and sometimes some of us are just lying down.
They're in the desert trying to find the
They're hallucinating.
trying to find Kangaroo Jack, the movie's name.
Why do you know Kangaroo Jack so well?
I don't think you have to know it that well to know.
I've never seen Kangaroo Jack. I was a child.
Same!
Alright, that was a pretty good intro. Enjoy the video.
Welcome to Plenum Saturdays. I'm your host, Gavin. This is basically the same design as our previous intake, except
It's already got grease on it.
it's a higher temperature. It's white, it's got the writing here, and we've got some grooves in the back for O-rings instead of a gasket. Because most composite intakes use O-rings instead of gaskets, so we thought we'd copy. We also added some slots here so we can use bolts instead of studs, which I think looks pretty sharp.
So, before we started recording, you said there was a problemo. Would you like to describe said problemo?
So I just did a copy or repeat feature for the O-ring grooves, and you'll notice that these three are the same size, but this O-ring groove a little bit smaller. So we're going to have to make that one a little bit bigger, which I'm sure we can figure out.
Look how greasy it looks.
My hands are greasy. You made me do unboxing with greasy hands. Alrighty, Nick, tell us what's happening.
So you may have seen our brand new dash, and to power all the 15 wires, we needed some source of voltage. So we bought this automotive rated bus bar, if it can focus, that's going to go there. That will run all the wires for our little dash there, rather than having to run 15 back to our fuse block. We run one thick wire there, and then a few to the dash there.
Because we decided we should have a breather on our fuel tank for some reason, I had to take the return line off where the new breather line was going to go, and then drill a hole in our fill neck so I could run the return to that. And then I just put the barb fitting that I took off the old intake and put that into the fuel neck, and then ran the fuel return to that. Easy as.
Just like the pros.
So as you would have seen in a previous argument, this bit I bought didn't bolt straight on, because as always, nothing is easy. So what I'm going to do is drill an exact 26mm hole in the fuel tank here. And so I don't put stuff in our fuel tank, I'm going to have this jar. You know, you can imagine it under there catching all the schwarf. And then just going to screw the check valve into the dash 8AN line, flange mounted on somewhere, have a filter, and then our fuel tank shouldn't be ever under negative pressure, and
Shouldn't do the ocean gate pluff.
yeah, it won't be like a billionaire submarine. And when we roll the car, maybe at Winton or Malala, I'm not sure.
If we don't roll it at Winton, we will roll it at Malala.
Yeah, but that's all right.
One can hope.
That's all right, because this little ball bearing, when it's all put together, goes upside down and stops the fuel coming out. a super high pressure, super robust line not needed, and we all buy in because we like anodized aluminium fittings and braided lines and pretending we got race cars.
Pretending.
But I don't know.
He's just complaining because it has no pressure in this line, yet he still has to use nice lines. And we all know how much of a complainer Gav is.
I just think we could have saved some money.
You bought the kit, mate.
I know, but I think the automotive world could save some money if they didn't make this the standard.
Remember to put the jar in.
Yes, you have to. For the record, I hate this. When we DNF because there's a bit of plastic this big stuck in their injector, I'm blaming Gavin.
Mate, we've got 2 lots of filters.
When we DNF because our filter gets clogged, filter gets clogged, filter gets clogged, filter gets clogged, filter gets clogged.
As what should be obvious but wasn't obvious to us, but luckily we thought about it before we ended up welding anything in, is that the fuel breather highest point obviously has to be higher than the highest point of the fuel system, including the fill neck, because when you fill the car and you overfill it and the fuel's sitting in the fill neck, if the breather's lower, then all the fuel's going to run out. So what we almost did was let all the fuel run out. But instead what I think we're going to do is now run this line, luckily it's long enough, up into here above the filler and then back down out to where we want it to vent. And that way we shouldn't pour heaps of fuel on the ground. It shouldn't become an external combustion engine. We've run the fuel breather line up above the filler cap because that's how you stop fuel falling out of your car. We've left the hose as long as possible, so if we have to move it at some point, we can. And then I've just made this little bracket here to hold the breather, and I've tried to have it outside of the passenger compartment of the car so we don't smell fuel when we're driving, because I don't know, I think all of us would probably pit and see what was wrong if we were smelling fuel, and that's going to cost us precious time. It's the moment of truth. We're going to fill this up with petrol till it's at the top of the fill neck and see if it leaks out here or here or here or here or here or here or here. And if it doesn't leak out of any of those spots or any other spot that I didn't point at, then we're laughing. We've filled the tank up with fuel till it started pouring out the fill neck, which means that the fuel level is up to about here and nothing leaks. So, you know, first time. We got the fuel system right first go. Bad news, you'll see in the background of Kit's film, this has leaked out overnight, and while that's not a lot of fuel, like none is the amount we want, so just gonna redo it, I guess, which means everything I've done's got to come off. Also, all the fuel needs to be pumped out of the tank so that when I pull this off, all the fuel that's sitting in this here doesn't just pour on the floor and make me sadder than I am right now.
So we had the blown engine obviously and the new crate engine. So we have a bunch of bits that we can sort of compare which one's slightly better to make a sort of Frankenstein engine. So at the moment, I'm just checking out both oil pumps. They haven't cleaned them or anything, but this is not the one we're using now, but the clearance between this outside rotor and the housing is really important, and then the clearance between the inside rotor and the outer rotor is also really important. So what I've discovered is actually weirdly the very hot blown up motor, its oil pump is a little bit tighter than the new one. So we're going to use the new whole housing, but the old 2 rotors and the actual oil pump itself. So the way you check those is just with feeler gauges and the specs and everything. But so we've got the block painted, we've got everything cleaned and organized. So basically this is ready to get put back together now. But before we do the final assembly, even though the machinist has checked all the bearing clearances and the bore and done all that hard stuff already, we're just going to do a final little test before the full assembly with plastic gauge, and then we're also going to check the ring end gap and adjust if necessary. The plastic gauge is really just a double checking tool, not for actually deciding what bearings and stuff to run, because otherwise you have to order multiple sets. So we're going to double check all that, and then once that's all done, we've got the ring ends all done, then we'll do the final assembly and get this thing back together. Alright, so we've got the long block all assembled, everything's measured, everything's checked, all looking great, it's all back together now. So now it's just doing the rest of the engine. This is the time consuming stuff because it takes doing a bunch of measuring, you're sort of half assembling it, taking it apart, assembling again, but final state now. So now just put the oil pump, all the stuff on the front of the engine back on, start just putting everything on the bottom bit, and then we'll chuck the head on after we've done all the lower timing stuff in the pump. So the long block, oil pump, all that's all on now, so time for the fun part that no one likes doing, the scary head bolt tightening sequence that is never fun. So got a new gasket and head's all nice, so we'll chuck all that on now. It's this way. Sounds pretty on there.
What are your thoughts, Cam? What's the underneath of the invisible car look like?
No fuel leaking.
Sick. Back to the studio.
An extra 90. Right, so finally got the cams all into place for the last time. Put it all together and doing the valve clearance, and literally one of the intake valves was a little bit tight. And unfortunately on this engine, because it's twin cam but only single cam pulley, the exhaust cam needs to come out to get the intake out, so it's like, it all had to come out again just for one stupid shim. Put it all back together and now everything's in spec. Nice and in the middle. So now, basically all the measuring, all the hard stuff done. Water pump's on now, we can just chuck all the rest of the timing stuff on and basically button it all up.
Oh, this is good stuff. How much pace are we gaining here?
Well, it'll help you.
Oh geez, there's actual work going on over here. Right, what are we doing?
Kits.
I'm putting it on, dickhead.
He's putting it on, dickhead.
So this is bottom to top engine done now, apart from the bottom.
Bottom to top done, except the bottom, alright? And
Don't, Cam!
I missed it.
Cam, I'm trying to I can't see now.
Mate, we've got to entertain the viewers. They love your shenanigans. Mate, 200 of our loyalist fans are going to be really appreciative of that.
Did you
2000.
Scotch-Brite the paint off kit?
No.
You...
I didn't Scotch-Brite that bit, I Scotch-Brite off
I
the
don't
bare
believe
bit.
you.
It was like
There
that.
was, because there was no Scotch-Brite marks.
There was a little bit.
And if you look at this, that is Scotch brand Bright, that pattern.
That does look like genuine.
That's Scottish Bright from the Homeland kit. I
Yeah.
can see it. My Scottish heritage is telling me that this is not generic Bright.
You see the damage?
That's the coolest bit of our whole engine, is the...
You see the damage that this man and his obsession with abrasive kitchen sponges. And look what he's done.
Apologies for that abrupt end to the video, but if I let it go on any longer, it'd be a supersized episode, which this one's not, but next week is. So I guess I probably could have let it go longer, but that's the decision I made.
next week could have been a short video.
That's the.
We always do a 3 days of panic.
We always have
tradition.
once, yeah. So sorry about that, but thank you for watching. As always, want to remind everyone that the series we race in, Motor Events Racing, very large part of it is to raise money for Rare Cancers Australia.
What's Rare Cancers Australia, Cam?
Rare Cancers Australia is a charity that supports people who have been diagnosed with rare cancer and research into rare cancers. So if you would like to donate and you are also feeling like sharing some of the credit for donating with us, there'll be a link in the description that takes you to the Motor Events website where you can donate towards our efforts at the next race that we're doing. I know none of this really makes sense, but it's easy once you click on it. The next race we're doing for real life us in the studio right now is...
In the future.
If we are in the future, is the Malala M24 2025. And so you click that and then you click SubPar Automotive and then everyone knows that you donated because we asked you to. And then that makes us feel good.
It doesn't put your name anywhere, it just puts out.
It just makes us look and feel good.
Yeah, we might get another participation trophy because of it.
We really only make these videos to funnel views to our Instagram and TikTok accounts, so if you want to go chuck them a follow at SubPar Automotive, that'd be fantastic.
I'll put a link in the description for those two going forward.
Thanks to my mum's friend Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
If you would like to be shouted out, leave a comment below.
Yeah, Gav's mum's email address is it's Karen@subparautomotive.com. I was trying to think of a polarizing question.
Well, you did like the astronaut question?
Denim jackets, yay or nay?
Hey, I
We're
think why not?
split.
I prefer, this isn't
That's
denim.
not denim. Does that look like?
not?
Does that look like a 2121 weave to you, dickhead?
Kind of.
Doesn't.
I think that's denim, mate.
No,
It's
because you
not
get the
denim.
stripes in denim because of the 2121 weave.
What is that then?
Normal
Pure
material.
tech.
Yeah, I prefer my blue denim on my pants, not on my jacket.
I don't ever wear blue denim on my pants anymore, but I do quite like a blue denim jacket, and so
Double denim is...
Mate, you're not striped in that. How's that denim?
Because
Because
it's
they're
black.
both the same color. Denim like this is 2 blue, 1 white. It's like the.
There's stripes in this.
It's because it's what? Like all fabric is woven.
I think that's denim.
It is 100% cotton, like denim.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can get the camera to focus on this. Sorry, Gav.
Really derailed.
It was really hot in the video, but it's really cold here in the studio.
Yeah. Do you guys reckon that this is denim?
Give us a comparison.
That man does. This.
It doesn't have to be blue though.
No, it doesn't have to be blue, but that's...
Okay, the camera's not focusing, but we would all agree this is denim.
What doesn't think that person?
We would all agree this is denim. Kit thinks this is denim.
Also, we have a K20 for sale if you want.
Yeah, someone buy my K20. I bought it in a moment of weakness.